Hello. Hello, dear Unity family. It's me, Genevieve, and I'm here today to share with you kiddos out there and parents or caregivers who might be listening a Sunday lesson today about love and about inclusion. So today's lesson is called One Love, and it's really about this idea that we're all connected by love. So if you would take a second to kind of come into the space with me a little, maybe boys and girls or even grown-ups, if you would trace the box with me here. And then exhale as we go down. And inhale as we come together. One more, starting at the top. Exhale. And inhale. And then exhale. Our affirmation for today, if you would say it with me, is the spirit within me is the one spirit that lives in all. Say it with me. The spirit within me is the one spirit that lives in all. So really, we can only experience that one spirit when we open ourselves to realize that we're all a part of it. If we shut off different people from that with judgment or fear or hate, then we forget that we have access to it, that everyone has access to it, that we're all a part of it. And the more we can include everyone in that love, the more we can feel it ourselves. So our story today is about inclusion. It's about being seen as the loving spirits we are. And it's a story about a woman named Marian Anderson. Now, I'm going to kind of read an abbreviated version of it, not the whole thing, but you'll find the whole story in the lesson that you can read together later if you really like it. And there's a lot of information about Marian Anderson and what a hero which she was, on the internet. So you can do some research about her, maybe even some facts that aren't in this story. So let me get it ready. Excuse me. Okay. This story is called Marian Anderson Sings. Marian loved to sing. At 6 years old, Marian was in the children's choir of her church in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Even then, as a kid, her voice was strong and clear, and she sang songs that she loved with devotion and joy. Her friends were not surprised when at 8 years old, Marian won the prize at the church recital, 50 cents. This was a long time ago, and 50 cents was a lot of money. And even with all her natural talent, Marian knew that she needed to study and work hard to be a professional singer. That means a singer who gets paid. But when she was out of high school and old enough to seriously study music, there wasn't enough money to pay for anyone to teach her. And Marian was deeply grateful when her friends who'd listened to her sing with the choir raised the money to pay for a well-known voice instructor. Marian never forgot that it was the kindness and generosity of those who loved her who made everything that came later possible. And so much came later. It's very unusual for someone to have the ability to sing both high notes, like many sopranos, and low notes, like lots of men singers. And Marian was one of those people who was unusual, and she trained hard to build strength and control. In voice, we call that range. Her teacher was so confident in her abilities that he entered her in a singing contest. And this time the prize was more than 50 cents, which was still a lot of money. But now the winner would sing with the famous New York Philharmonic Orchestra in a huge outdoor amphitheater for thousands of people. Her teacher was right to feel confident because 300 singers entered that contest, but Marian won. She must have had a beautiful voice, right? She gave an amazing performance. And even though the year was 1925, which was a long time ago, people loved to hear her sing. Now, Marian was a Black woman in a country in 1925 where Black people were not treated the same as white people. The restrictive laws against African Americans and the attitudes held by many people of that time made it really difficult for Marian, sometimes even, I'm sure, dangerous. So when she had a chance to go to Europe to sing, she did. In Europe, Marian studied and continued to train her voice, and she sang a lot. Marian became famous across all of Europe. She gave performances for kings. She sang in Paris, London, and everywhere she went, people loved her music. The color of her skin was not a concern in Europe. People just wanted to hear her sing. By the time she returned to the United States, she was known as one of the greatest singers in the world. Back in America, Marian was invited to the White House by the president at the time, who was Franklin Roosevelt, and his wife, Eleanor Roosevelt. Marian was the first African American to be invited to the White House and the first to sing for the president. It seemed an even higher honor than singing for the king, and Marian said it was the only time she ever experienced stage fright. But despite her nervousness, she must have done really well, because they asked her to come again. Marian was happy to be home in the United States, and she gave concerts throughout the country. She was deeply aware on a personal level of the suffering that was caused by the idea that people with dark skin did not deserve the same treatment as those with light skin. She did what she could to change that belief. In the South, where the barriers were particularly strong, she insisted on having seating available up front for for Black audience members. Usually, the Black ticket holders had only the worst seats in the back, although they paid the same ticket price as those in front. So moving them up to the front was a small victory for Marian, but it was something she could do. Then something happened, and this drew a lot of attention to Marian and the unfairness of racial discrimination. Marian and the people who helped arrange her concerts requested permission to use a large concert hall in Washington, D.C., but the organization that owned the hall refused. No other reason was given except for the color of her skin. Many people were shocked, and they took notice. And when the president and the first lady found out, do you know what they did? They took action, and they gave permission for the concert that she was planning to be held somewhere else. On the morning of April 9th, 1939, that was Easter morning, Marian sang at the Lincoln Memorial, a beautiful grand monument in one of the most public parts of Washington, D.C. And outside on the steps in front of the memorial, she gave a free concert. Over 75,000 people stood or sat outside to hear the music. It was a cold morning, and Marian had to wear a heavy coat over her lovely gown, but no one minded the chill because her voice was so warm and it filled the air and the hearts of all who came. Many, many lives were touched by Marian Anderson's voice and by her bravery. And many were inspired by her example of beauty, kindness, and strength in the face of racial inequality. She continued to sing for all who would listen, and her voice helped people feel that one spirit that exists everywhere. So now that you've heard about her, maybe you want to go and look and see if you can find a recording of her singing, because it sounds like she had such a beautiful voice that it touched so many people, really changed the world, and reminded people, like the story says, that we're all connected. What do you think it would be like to sing in front of a king or a queen or a president? Or, I mean, do you like to sing? What kind of songs would you sing if you were singing in front of people? How does singing make you feel? How do you think it would feel to be told that you couldn't sit where you wanted, or you couldn't go where you wanted, or be a part of something just because of what you looked like? And how do you think music helps people feel good inside? Can you sing a song, maybe even right now, maybe even with the person next to you that makes people feel good? I was thinking maybe we could all sing a song together. Um, this song is one that we have sung before, and it's really simple. So I'm going to sing it for you once, and then I'm going to sing it 2 more times, and you can maybe sing it with me. Okay. The song goes, love, 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 love. The gospel in one word is love. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love, love, love. You want to try? Love, 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 love. The gospel in one word is love. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love, love, love. Okay, one more time. And this time, if you do sing it with me, or even if you're just listening, I'd like you to think about Marian Anderson and about the way her voice carried through everyone's heart, and how our voices can carry and unite us when we speak out for what's right. Love, 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 love. The gospel in one word is love. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love, 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 love. And that's true, that one spirit of love, may it move through your life. Maybe you can turn to someone who's next to you now and give them a big hug and acknowledge that we're all one in spirit. Okay, thanks for letting me share this really important, beautiful story with you. And I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.